Hello, leaders of the world. Welcome to Spread Love in Organizations, a podcast for purpose-driven healthcare leaders striving to make life better around the world by leading their teams with genuine care, servant leadership, and love. I'm Naji, your host for this podcast, joined today by Myriam Hakim, General Manager of Kiowa Kirin for the GCC region. Myriam is pharmacist by training and is now an experienced general manager with a demonstrated history of working in the pharmaceutical industry for more than 20 years. She led teams in several geographies in the Middle East and in different therapeutic areas. Myriam has an extensive experience in marketing and sales, augmented with entrepreneurial and managerial achievements. Myriam, I am so excited to have you with me today.
Thank you very much, Naji. I'm really honored, and it's my pleasure to be with you today.
I would love to hear, Myriam, your personal story. What's in between the lines of your incredible journey and now leading a large company in the GCC region?
First of all, when you asked this question, I was a bit thinking that my story might be very boring and maybe similar to many other working ladies in various industries. So just for the sake of going back to where I am from, I grew up in Lebanon, and whoever grew up in this country was exposed or affected directly or indirectly with the war and its spread at that time. Basically, I lost my father in an explosion while I was 6 years old. And it was not easy, but I was lucky to be surrounded with the presence of two women who played an important role in my life. First one is my grandmother, who used to be the first woman teacher in our city or in our area. She was of a great and big influence on me, as I spent lots of time in my childhood with her when I was a kid. She made me realize that you never stop learning, and every day you can learn something new if you listen carefully for the people around you, and if you are willing to analyze and respect the others and listen to them. The other influential lady who helped me or who was inspiring to me throughout my entire childhood and later on in my career was my mom. She was a fighter in her spirit, yet she was a very calm and composed person. Despite the challenges she faced, she made me realize that there is always a solution for every problem you face if you seek for it. She was the most positive, if you want, and resilient person I have ever met. She kept me always focused on the full half of the glass and never the empty one. On top, she believed that as a woman, you can achieve equally or even more than men, especially if you are well equipped with knowledge and with hard work. So I inherited from her the love of science. She was very passionate when she was talking about science. As her background, she has a scientific background, which is not very common for the woman from her generation. So her motto was always, learning and educating is the key change to the belief and the preconceived idea. So if you want, I grew up in an environment fertile for me to develop a high sense of curiosity, willingness to learn, to improve, while always keeping a positive outlook. So in essence, this is the environment I grew in, and this is what made me who I am today.
Well, Myriam, thank you so much for sharing this inspiring part of your story and the two women, as you said, who helped you get there. I loved what you said. Every day you learn something new if you are willing to listen to it, and so many amazing stories and gems that you shared with us. From there, what took you to pharma, healthcare? Becoming a pharmacist and then continuing in the pharma industry?
So as I said, I was inspired and I liked the science. So frankly, pharmacy came as a natural, I would say, answer to that. And I went to the pharmacy school without knowing really what it was about, as there was not lots of awareness around it. So I finished the pharmacy school. And I started to work in a street pharmacy in Beirut. And there I realized how important it is to serve patients. I will tell you, in my empty time, I used to do lots of volunteer work in dispensary in a remote area. And I didn't realize that sometimes when talking with patients and how positively you can impact the patient with a few words or with a few explanation that wasn't available for them at the moment, gave me satisfaction. And I kept on thinking if this is temporary or gonna last long. So today I can tell you, for instance, that the smile of a patient from my previous work within the pharmacy and the dispensary is stuck on my mind, and it makes me think that we as a pharmacist have a bigger mission, is to help patients around the world. So it wasn't possible to help patients around the world with a small street pharmacy or with a dispensary. So I went to the pharma industry, where I started at the first step of the ladder, starting with the medical representative, detailing the product and making sure that the doctors who are the prescribers are aware of all the science around the product. And then I just moved into various positions within the organization until I reached until I became GM of an affiliate in the Gulf country. In fact, it's also, if I reflect on it, I believe I was given also the opportunities from my managers or people who were leading the organization, who believed in me, in my entrepreneurship spirit, if you want, when it comes to business, as well as in my capability. Because one of the tasks I have done in my previous company was to build organization from scratch, which I have done in my previous role, and that was really challenging. But also it helped me to develop myself, definitely, and to develop and lead people.
So you worked in Myriam, in different geographies, in different companies. Is there one specific capability as a leader you always take with you and have kept through those different experiences, and that you will keep in the future?
Usually in the beginning, you just start to learn as a leader, and definitely two things I will keep with me is mainly the sense of curiosity. So keep curious. For me, as a leader, you need to always keep curious to learn, because curiosity drives you forward, and keep you learning and developing. And definitely draw learning from each and every experience, because curiosity alone, if you stop after learning, you need to draw an experience from each and every learning, and this is what makes you grow as a leader. And another thing that is really very important is remaining humble, because humility in leadership is very important. If you are not humble, you will let the success go to your head, and this is where you're not anymore a good leader. Especially by being humble, you can give the credit to others, accept also your own mistakes to learn from it. By being humble, you can keep seeing the value of others, because otherwise you think that you are the one who's driving on doing everything. You can create a culture of authenticity, especially if you recognize your mistake, and you will be true to yourself and true to the organization and true to the people you lead. And I do believe those are the two things that are very important to keep in mind as a leader.
Love it. Curiosity and humility. And you led, with your entrepreneurial spirit, as you said, you led large teams, and you practically built teams from scratch. And again, in different countries, and we talk about GCC as one region, but it has obviously different countries in them with different cultures, different healthcare systems. What would be your key learning in those different experiences you had? really specifically building teams from scratch?
Yeah, building teams from scratch is something that made me realize also that having the right team in the right place is very important, but that does not stop here. So you need to be consistent, regular, and prioritize and demonstrate that you can take care of the people so they can take care of the business at the end of the day. From building the team, I just learned a lot, mainly from do's and don'ts, what makes a team successful, what breaks a team. In some cases, talking about high-performing team, talking about energy, talking about corrosive energy for the team. And sometimes what I learned, I wanted to go at a certain speed while the team was not at the same speed. So where I just had to stop, listen, and learn before moving forward. So again, having caring about each and every one, to take each and every one up to a certain speed is quite important, and not working alone and in silo. So creating this environment where the team can work together, respect each other, have a great teamwork is quite important for to build the right organization in place and to have it sustainable.
I know you're passionate specifically about women in leadership, and obviously with the story, the powerful story that you had, and this unfortunate moment of explosion, and then two women losing your father, and two women taking care of you during your growth. I know you personally believe so much in women in leadership, and I'm with you. Women are better than men in several things, if not everything. Can you share with us your thoughts about, and potentially an example, as you are a role model for many women, not only in the region, even beyond. What are your thoughts about women in leadership today?
In essence, when we are born as different gender, men, women, or whatever, we have this something sticked on us. As a woman, you expect to do 1, 2, you are expected to do 1, 2, 3, and so on. So what I see in terms of women in leadership, women tend to minimize what they do. Yeah, I mean, you talk with women in a great leadership position. They've done marvelous job. They are a well-respected, well-seen leaders, but they still believe that everyone can do the same. And I'm not sure if this is a trait that is common to all women, but I do believe we women need also to become self-aware and to position ourselves in equity with men, because we need to recognize that not necessarily everyone can be a mother and leading an organization and juggling between many roles and reaching to a certain level. It's quite challenging. But in essence, when we recognize that we've done something great and something big, we need to be also true and honest to ourselves and realize that not necessarily everyone can do it. Yeah, we've done something good, and acknowledge that this will take us further. This is one of the things I keep on seeing in many women. They minimize what they have done when it comes to achievement and when it comes to reaching a certain level in terms of position, business, or leadership. So I do believe this is a very important thing we have, and also helping each other and supporting each other, not necessarily in the way that preferring women versus man in business. However, if we can support each other as women in organization and be the right role model and be open to discuss about certain experience, that will help others.
Do you have any story or experience you've done for your teams, for example? I think there is a lot of biases if we think about women in the Middle East being successful, being a GM. Like, how are you, going through this? So I'd love to get like a concrete story if you have, and how you're fostering what you said to empower women and actually take out all these imposter thoughts that one can have, and just be confident of what you're doing and what you're delivering. So any example you had on how you're building this for your team, specifically in the company you work with?
In essence, also giving everyone an opportunity to succeed is very important. And encouraging, I'm very encouraging for working women. Yeah, definitely. I think COVID accelerated part of this, that became also something that is very totally followed within a certain organization. For instance, working from home is something that is quite important for a young lady who has young kids in young age, and being able to juggle between taking care sometimes of the kids and delivering what is expected. So encouraging this and supporting this working mother is quite important for me. On top of that, giving women the opportunities to, for instance, have an extended maternity leave. Let's put it that way. In the GCC or in our region, sometimes we have short maternity leave. So in our organization, we insist to have a long maternity leave, a proper one. So ladies can come back to after maternity to again be part of the organization and deliver. On top of that, at the end of the day, we shouldn't be focusing on when people work. They can work whenever they want, but we focus on the outcome and on the results. And as much as a person is delivering, definitely, this is welcome. On top of that, I can say that empowering ladies, empowering women to go further and encouraging them, because small encouragement are very important and meaningful to some people. They mean a lot. So I'm keen to celebrate, not only for women, for everyone. I'm keen to celebrate small successes, because this is what drives people forward. And I'm keen to give proper feedback also when it comes to each and every one. When it is a good feedback, I deliver it. But when it's also a feedback where people need to learn and to improve, it's very important to deliver it. Otherwise, no one can move further and improve.
Myriam, I'll give you now one word, and I would love to get your reaction to it. So the first word is leadership.
Yeah, for me, leadership is about impacting positively others.
What about diversity?
Diversity means nothing without inclusion, because it's a good motto. But without including the others, it means nothing for me.
Entrepreneurship
is stepping out your comfort zone and go beyond your boundary.
Love those. What about spread love in organizations?
I love this concept, because, I want to reflect on something that I learned during COVID. And for me, it was I took for granted the time I spent with people, for instance, in the pantry, over a coffee, and so on. And suddenly COVID came, and we were all behind the screen, where even if you want to show genuine care, it's quite difficult. Yeah, it's for me, it was a quite difficult thing to show on a screen. Sometimes I felt people are asking questions about other peers, like if they care, why it was like not really true. So I felt that what we took for granted when it comes to having genuine care about each other in an organization, and is nothing we should take for granted, because it matters. Especially, as I said, with COVID, turning completely virtual was quite difficult for everyone. So people felt also isolated. And for me, this is a quite important point that I realized. And taking care of others is very, very, very crucial, because we felt the difference during COVID, how much we did effort to show the care, while it was so easily shown when you are in a face-to-face interaction or with real interaction. So it is very important that we continue to spread this genuine care, and that should be consistently there and regularly there, because when you care about people, at the end of the day, for me, when you care about people, when you encourage them, when you listen to the even small, sometimes not very big things from your side, but someone is sharing with you, you feel this emotional connection between you and any other employee. And this has a tremendous impact, because it creates a sense of community, if you want, a sense of belonging and happiness. So that will strengthen all the engagement people have toward any company. And overall, it affects the culture, the organizational culture, and you cannot expect bad results from that. On the contrary, you would expect great results when you have this engagement and the culture.
I love it. And you shared the sense of belonging, where we're talking and seeing more and more, right? Diversity, inclusion, equity, and belonging is so important. Thank you so much, Myriam, for those words. Any final word of wisdom for healthcare leaders around the world?
Yeah, I just have a nice I would say quote to share, because I always think about the thing I've been through in my life made me think, what is my purpose? And from my perspective, you cannot pass on and then not impact positively your environment, the people around you, just contribute to a positive change, whatever it is, yes, as a positive change. So a quote I love very much, and I think I just have it on daily basis in my mind. It is, for me, success is not how high you have climbed, but how you make a positive difference in the world. And I can add to it how you make a positive difference in people's life at the end of the day. Be it external people you meet, or be it any people you just anyone who came across your path.
Thank you so much, Myriam, for those great words and for being with me today.
Thank you, Naji.
Thank you all for listening to Spread Love in Organizations podcast. Drop us a review on your preferred podcast platform. Connect with us on SpreadLoveIO.com or on LinkedIn. Most importantly, spread love in your organizations and spread the word around you to inspire others and amplify this movement our world so desperately needs.